Welcome back, True Seeker. Thursday, February 9th, 2023, the 40th day of the year. And notice what the U.S. federal government feeds us today on the 40th day of the year. U.S. Chinese spy balloon contained technology to monitor communications. It was capable of collecting intel from communications and part of a fleet that had flown over then 40 countries. On the 40th day of the year, the balloon was part of a fleet that flew over 40 countries. And if you're new here, I call 40 the U.S. number. And that's because in Gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, United States equals 40 when you take the alphabetic order with numerology. So for example, U is the 21st letter, S is the 19th letter. Just using the alphabetic order, US is 40. U is 21, S is 19, add it together, 21 plus 19 is 40. If you use numerology, United States equals 40. So instead of U counting as 21, you take the numerology of 21, since it's the 21st letter, 2 plus 1 is 3, U becomes 3, and the 14th letter becomes 1 plus 4 is 5, so on. If you add up United States that way, it's 40. And on the 40th day of the year, this is the news. And let's not forget, I won't be surprised if we have a new update tomorrow on the 41st day of the year, because spy balloon equals 41, and the whole story began above Montana, the 41st state. If you don't use numerology, spy balloon equals 131, and it was shot down 131 days before Xi Jinping's birthday, the president of China. But on the 40th day of the year, this is the news. And of course, it's news by the numbers all day, every day. Speaking of more news by the numbers, again, we've been talking about the Turkey earthquake on the 37th day of the year when Revelation 3:7's the letter written to the Church of Philadelphia, which is in modern-day Turkey, and how Turkey renamed its country or changed the spelling of Turkey recently, and the new spelling has Gematria 37. But remember, they said it was a 7.8 earthquake, a 7.8. Now we have a story about 78 hours later, and we know who's 78, who that number belongs to, the Jesuits. 78 cards in the tarot deck. But 78 hours later, after the 7.8. And yesterday we got the story about the boy in the perfectly clean clothes being rescued from the rubble after 52 hours, when 52 is the number of environmental disasters. And again, the Jesuits first admitted to environmental disaster warfare in the year 52 on the Jesuit order's birthday. And of course, the Turkey earthquake happened on the Pope's 52nd day of his age, and we're on a calendar that's named after a Pope, giving us the 52-week year, and in Gematria, Pope equals 52, like Earth, which the Pope rules over in the Catholic ideology. So just a little warm up there with some news by the numbers stories. And in the world of celebrity, Burt Bacharach is dead today. And no one's going to question his death because he was 94 years old. But what stands out about his death is he's from Kansas City. And here we are, just a few days from the Super Bowl, which features Kansas City again for the third time in the last 4 years. And wrote a lot of big songs, did Burt Bacharach. And here's what jumps out to me in addition to him being from Kansas City. His full name, Burt Freeman Bacharach, Gematria of 87, like Philadelphia Eagles is 87. Again, Len Dawson died at age 87 earlier this year. And he died on Kobe Bryant Day, who's from Philadelphia. And Len Dawson was the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs back in Burt's heyday. And he became a Hall of Famer in 87, did Len Dawson. And that was the year the first black quarterback ever won a Super Bowl in the NFL. That was with the Washington Redskins, the same team that were the first team to beat the Eagles this year, dropping them to 8-1 on Monday Night Football. Kobe Bean Bryant, 81, career high 81 in his 666th game. And ESPN did say that the Eagles would win the Super Bowl after the Eagles beat the Redskins in their first meeting, who are now the Commanders, in Week 3, 24-8, the Kobe Bryant jersey numbers. But anyhow, all of this stuff is related history. A couple months back, they said they solved the boy in the box murder in Philadelphia. That was in 1957. Now Philadelphia is in Super Bowl 57. The name of that boy, his name in Gematria is 87. Just like Burt Freeman Bacharach, like Philadelphia Eagles. And also standing out, the hit song that the media is emphasizing that he wrote, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, Gematria 439, which is the 85th prime. National Football League equals 85. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it was their 85th season. R.I.P. to John Madden, who died in recent times at age 85. Big number with the NFL. The NFL was founded in Chicago. The only time the Bears ever won the Super Bowl was the 85 season. If you just go Burt Bacharach without the middle name, it's 52. That was the Super Bowl the Eagles won, Super Bowl 52. And also noteworthy, from his birthday, May 12th, to his death, February 8th, was his 39th week of his age, and dead on the 39th day of the year, and dead right before the Super Bowl in Arizona, the 39th state. And the Eagles, of course, did lose in Super Bowl 39 back when Andy Reid coached the Eagles. Now, 18 years later, he's facing his old team with the Chiefs. And funny enough, if you add up all the Chiefs Super Bowls, 1, 4, 54, 55, 57, it adds up to 171, which is the 18th triangular number. Again, he lost with the Eagles 18 years ago. The Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2018. And again, ritual after ritual. The word race is 18. Big focus on race, with it being the first Super Bowl with two black quarterbacks. And go figure, it's on the 114th birthday of the NAACP, this Super Bowl, when history equals 114. So RIP to Burt. Looks like, and we see this stuff year after year. People connected to cities dying right around the time of the big game. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I'm guessing a person like Amy at Crack Their Code will take it even further, but that's what screams out to me in light of this being right before Super Bowl 57. And also in Arizona news, they're about to host the Super Bowl, and Kevin Durant getting shipped down to the Suns. And of course, Kevin Durant wears the number 35 because of the death of his high school coach, which is a major ritual, which we covered many years ago. But 35 is the number of the Suns, and now he'll play for the Phoenix Suns, and this happens right before the Super Bowl. How all this comes together. The name Suns in Gematria equals 35. We celebrate the Sun's birthday, or at least the Catholic Church does, and now they have them celebrating the Son of God's birthday on the same day, 1225, where the square root of 1225, Christmas Day as we call it, is 35. And the word I, E-Y-E, that's the fifth letter, the 25th letter, the fifth letter, adds up to 35. To the occult, the sun is the eye of God. Thus, when it's out, there's light, like how we can see with our eyes when it's light. Our eyes are the shape of a football. In Chaldean and septenary gematria, both football and Super Bowl equal 35, like how the Packers won the first ever Super Bowl over Len Dawson with 35 points. And don't forget, Len Dawson died exactly 172 days before this Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs won 72. And anyhow, Kevin Durant, Mr. 35, goes to the Suns when that number is assigned to the sun. Remember the dollar bill that has the eye with the sun rays coming off it? That was put on the dollar bill in 35. And by the way, words like Catholic and Holy See equal 35, and Jesuitism in Europe, which the Catholic Church used to rule over. But number 35 to the Suns, and then adding to the ritual, he gets traded to the Suns 19 weeks from his birthday. Of course, in tarot, the 19th card of the deck is the Sun card. Corona relates to a sun, an eclipse. Remember, we got the jab for Corona on the day of the total solar eclipse in Pope Francis's native Argentina. And they continue to call it COVID-19. The sun, 19. Also the moon on a 19-year cycle. So those are the big things about Durant. And they said the trade happened late last night, the 39th day of the year. Again, Arizona's the 39th state. The other state that equals 39 is New York. So he goes from New York to Arizona in the big 39 ritual. And remember, his birthday is 929. In the Old Testament, there's 929 chapters. In Jewish gematria, United States of America equals 929. And remember, Old Testament, in the same way United States equals 40, so does Old Testament. Brought up this point years ago when he got traded to the Golden State Warriors on the nation's birthday, 7-4. Again, he has the United States of America birthday, gets traded on the nation's birthday. And we'll talk about Pat Tillman here in a moment. By the way, this is big news today, the day after the trade supposedly happened. Today has 54 and 18 date numerology, and Gematria Sun equals 54 and 18. Like Jesuit order equals 54, and their acronym IHS equals 18. And with regards to the Old Testament thing, we know who's always in charge of the NBA. But, yeah, Kevin Durant to the Suns, a fitting destination for number 35. And by the way, Brooklyn, New York equals 74 and Kevin equals 74. They're saying that it was a big failure in Brooklyn because they could never keep these guys healthy and playing together, and they only played together in a total of 74 games. I'm sure that wasn't orchestrated. Another word that equals 74 is Jewish, and it's hard to find a more Jewish neighborhood in the world outside of Israel than Brooklyn, New York, the same neighborhood that banned my book on the 74th day of the year. That was Etsy out of Brooklyn. And, their favorite number out of the Talmud's 113. Remember what kind of treatment Kyrie got on 113 November 3rd. Anyhow, now he got shipped to 113 land, Dallas. Okay, with regards to Arizona, again, I want to bring this up about Pat Tillman. I did cover this last night in real time, but just one more time, it brings all the same numbers together. It's the 40th day of the year. Pat Tillman was the football star for the Cardinals who wore the number 40. And then he left the NFL to serve in the Middle East after 9/11. And then it was reported that he was killed in combat. Then months later, it changed to he was killed by friendly fire. Then months after that, it changed to he was shot point blank in the back of the head. Thus, he was executed. And where he died, Spare, Afghanistan, has the same gematria as Patrick Tillman, which is interesting. But the day he enlisted was May 31st, and that was a span of 263 days from 9/11. Remember, the flights that hit buildings on 9/11 were flights 11, 77, and 175. Added up, 263, which is the 56th prime number, the number of the Society of Jesus, who are the Jesuits. And he died 99 weeks from becoming enlisted in the military. The United States of America equals 99. And the U.S. was named that on September 9th, 9/9/1776. From the day we invaded Afghanistan till the day he died was 929 days. Again, United States of America, 929 in Jewish. 929 chapters in the Old Testament. Old Testament equals 40, like United States equals 40. And also interesting, the Super Bowl that year was February 1st, 2004. He died 81 days later. Cardinals equals 81. Always a big, consistent number with the Cardinals in their games. Number of teams had 81 rituals again this year against the Cardinals. And the word ritual itself also equals 81. But he was a Cardinal and he died 81 days after the Super Bowl, which that year fell on the 32nd day of the year. And by the way, it was Super Bowl 38. We know death is 38, so is Panthers, who lost in that Super Bowl. Brady with the flag on his helmet won. America equals 32, 7/4/1776, 32 date numerology. NFL 32 calls itself America's game, 32 teams. But that was the death of Pat Tillman. And again, that was a shocker for the state of Arizona. I was there when the news broke. Like I said, I was serving in a restaurant that day, and it had TVs on, and came across the TV, and it was just dead silence in there. The other bizarre day I remember when I was, just from my serving days, was the day that Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ came out. Everybody who came in to eat that night had just been out to see the movie, and people were just hysterical over that film. Anyhow, the El Paso Walmart shooting of August 3rd, 2019. It's crazy to think it's almost been 4 years since it happened. Time flies. But again, they said 23 killed in that massacre on 8/3, where 83 is the 23rd prime number. And now here we are at the start of 2023. And he's pleading guilty, the supposed shooter. And he pled guilty to 90 federal charges on the 39th day of the year. Federal has gematria of 39 and 33, and when you spell out 90 as a word, it equals 33. And this came 183 weeks after the shooting. Order out of chaos, 183. His name, Patrick Crusius. has gematria of 190, which is the 19th triangular number, which is the chaos number. We see it a lot in the mass shootings. Again, this shooting was in 2019. But yeah, 23 killed, and then finally decides to plead guilty at the start of 2023. Just a reminder that everything the federal government does every single day is by the numbers. Just like Joe Biden's State of the Union the other night. On 7-2, that lasted 72 minutes when President Biden equals 72. And again, his whole political career began in 72 when he was elected senator and his wife and daughter died. And then when he was 72 years old, his son died at age 46, years before he'd become number 46. Synced up with the Pope, who became the first Jesuit Pope on the 72nd day of the year, March 13th, 2013. And in case you missed the end of TFR last night, a good veteran caller from New York called in and pointed out that both Breonna Taylor and Tyree Nichols were born on the exact same day. We'd caught before they were both born on June 5th, but they were born in the same year as well, 93. And remember, Black History Month equals 93, and Malcolm X equals 93, and Martin Luther King Jr. equals 93, and a lot of people that are big in Black history have the 93 connection, including Beyonce, Giselle Knowles. But the founder of Black History Month, Carter G. Woodson, died on the 93rd day of the year. We know they just had the funeral for Tyree Nichols. They saved it for the first day of Black History Month, February 1st, which is the 32nd day of the year, and funeral also equals 32. But that June 5th date can be written 5-6, Black Lives Matter 56, like Society of Jesus, like Washington, D.C., because these ultimately are all part of a federal agenda to divide and conquer the nation. And in the case of Breonna Taylor, she was killed on a date with 56 numerology, March 13th, which is the same day in history Pope Francis became Pope, the 72nd day of the year, the big Jesuit order number. In this case, Memphis, Tennessee, 72, where Tyree Nichols was killed. So you just got to say, what are the odds? What are the odds that they would have the exact same birthday? I mean, completely improbable. Completely improbable. But through knowing the knowledge, we can see why those are the birthdays. And also a caller last night, long call. My favorite part of his call was him pointing out this. And I thought about this more since he called in about it. By the way, just before I went live, they upgraded the death toll in Turkey from 7,000, which is a biblical number, to 20,000. But notice that from the day Kobe Bryant died, remember Kobe Bryant connected to Philadelphia. Biblical Philadelphia is in modern-day Turkey. There was a big earthquake in Southern California 206 days before Kobe died on the 26th day of the year, and now the Turkey earthquake comes on February 6th, 26. The word quake itself is 26. The word God is 26. Anyhow, from Kobe's death, which again was at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age while traveling from Catholic Mass when Kobe Bryant's 41. And so was Super Bowl, and he died right before Super Bowl 54, where Kobe Bean Bryant's 54. But from his death to this upcoming Super Bowl that Philadelphia's in, the first Super Bowl his city's been in since he died, it's 1,113 days. The 159 weeks is also interesting, which we'll come to, but let's start with 1113. Revelation 11:13. At that very hour, there was a severe earthquake, and a tenth of the city collapsed. 7,000 people were killed in the earthquake, and the survivors were terrified and gave glory to the God of heaven. Now, that's Revelation, and the letter written to the seven churches in Revelation, or the letters written to the seven churches in Revelation, they're all in modern-day Turkey, which is connected to Philly, which connects to Kobe, which connects to this Super Bowl. But anyhow, 7,000, and that was what they were going with as of yesterday. Yesterday, the 39th day of the year, the death toll was up to 7,000. Now, 39 connects to Revelation too, because Revelation is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. So, 7,000, again, we're about to have the Super Bowl in Arizona. Anyhow, 1113, earthquake. The 159 weeks is also interesting because New Testament equals 159 and Revelation concludes the New Testament. Scottish Rite also has the gematria of 159 and 57, and this is Super Bowl 57. 3 years and 17 days is a little bit interesting because it's kind of like 317, the 66th prime. Revelation's the 66th book of the Bible. New Testament also has the gematria of 66. And anyhow, you just got to say, what are the odds? And again, if you're new here, what I've been educating about, the first book I ever tried to write was called Revelation and the Birth of a Nation. And I put that book out in chapters on my original blog for free if you want to go search for it. But my argument's been the same since the beginning. It's the Jesuit Masonic Alliance. Again, Jesuits are responsible for modern Freemasonry that uses this code. They use Revelation like it's a playbook, like they're a football coach. And day after day, riddle after riddle. That's why all of COVID is completely Revelation. First case confirmed on January 21st, 121, when Revelation's 121. From the first simulation Cladex to the pandemic being declared, 666 days. In Sumerian Gematria, vaccination 666, which fits in with the biblical theme from Revelation 13 about having to accept the mark if you want to buy or sell. And marks one letter off from mask. And a lot of people had to wear the mask if they wanted to buy or sell. Again, just biblical themes, biblical riddles. But also just, again, Revelation 3:7, 37th day of the year was the earthquake. The new spelling of Turkey equals 37. Bryant equals 37, who died on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. And, yeah, again, just Turkey earthquake on 2/6. Bryant dead on the 26th. I don't know why I forgot to write. Bryant equals 26 forwards, 37 in reverse. Dead on the 26th on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. This earthquake on 2/6, the 37th day of the year. But, again, Kobe dead on the 26th. Earthquake on 2/6. Kobe dead 206 days after the July 4th big earthquake in Southern California, which was on China Lake. 201 days before coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S. Kobe's birthday, 201 days before the pandemic was declared. Event 201, the coronavirus simulation. The Jesuit Order 201. Pope Francis, the first pope to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. And if you're new here, there's a whole lot more to that 201. I'd encourage you to download my ebook and read it for free. And I need to encourage myself to finish my latest book, because then you'll get a real mind blow with the 201. But, yeah, and again, just the Jesuits. Jesuit Order 72, big number with them. President Biden 72, President Trump 72. They're both Jesuits. 72-minute speech on 7/2, and then at the same time, Bob Iger of Jesuit Templar-run Disney that codes 666 in their logo. You know, they're cutting 7,000 jobs. That number again. On the and never mind on the exact same day that they were saying 7,000 were dead in Turkey, but 7,000 jobs right before his 72nd birthday, Bob Iger. So, he returned to Disney on Joe Biden's birthday as well. How about that? November 20th. The day leaving 41 days left in the year. Born on the 41st day of the year. Rituals, numbers. Remember, 41's a big number in this nation. USA equals 41. 41's the 13th prime. 13 colonies. 13 stripes. So, I think that's all for now, Truth Seeker. If you want to join us, we're going to do a football live stream here in less than an hour on Patreon. Starts at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. We'll have another one on Saturday, potentially one more on Sunday. And here, just before I go, let me make sure there's not any breaking headlines. Again, like I said, they just updated it to more than 20,000 people dead. And if you're new here, words like death, cross, time, they equal 20. Again, when they hospitalized Lisa Marie Presley, if you haven't seen that video, I pointed out, don't be surprised if she's dead later today because it's 20 days before her birthday. And hold on, we got a call from Las Vegas. Las Vegas?
Oh, man, you doing a live?
I'm doing a live stream.
What you doing live on?
I'll call you back. Okay. He wants to talk football. Chick-fil-A's getting a vegan burger. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything else too interesting going on right now. Let's see what Fox has got. Senator Manchin. I love how they got these characters in there with just the perfect names. Remind us of who the ruling class is. Senator Manchin. All right, hold on. Somebody else wants to call in. I left the phone line open from last night. 818. No, they hung up. All right, let me close the phone line before I get any more calls. It's not even supposed to be open. But yeah, I think we will leave it there, True Seeker. And if anything else happens today, I will surely be back. If not, I got the live stream on Patreon. And then I know Jonathan does want to do a live stream later tonight, so that'll probably also happen. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Have a good rest of your day. And until next time.